Imagine waking up one morning, stepping outside your mud hut for a good stretch, wondering why it was a bit darker than usual, and realizing it was because whatever god you believed in hadn't bothered to turn the sun on that day, or the next day, or week, or several years. Well, in the year 536 AD, this happened. Across the entire world, it went dark. And stayed that way for a long, long time. Crops failed, people starved, empires fell, chaos reigned. 536 was, officially, the shittiest year in the history of the world since the dinosaurs. No place in the sun. In 536, something very, very odd happened. The sun dimmed. For 18 months. Historical records from across Europe, the Middle East, China, and the Americas all record that the sun was on strike. Procopius, a Byzantine historian, wrote,
"The sun gave forth its light without brightness, like the moon during the whole year."
In China, Nan Shi wrote,
"Yellow dust rained down like snow."
And Mayan inscriptions record a possible black sky event around this time, coinciding with major drought. On the bright side, whatever happened at least made everyone in the world agree with each other for once. The sun had gone dim, and this was a very bad thing. Something big had happened, and we've only recently begun to figure out what. Volcano, no, no, no. For years there was debate about what had caused the events found in the records. Some believe volcanic activity, others some kind of impact event. Modern science went digging, literally, and found the answer. Ice cores taken from Greenland and Antarctica show massive spikes in volcanic sulfate dated precisely to 536 and then later to 540 and 547 AD. That's 3 colossal eruptions in quick succession, enough to throw the planet into a multi-year volcanic winter, causing mass starvation pretty much everywhere. The Irish annals describe 3 years of crop failure. The Chinese describe snow in summer and famine. For years, the first eruption was thought to have happened in Iceland, but more recent evidence suggests the source may have been further afield. One strong candidate? The Ilopango volcano in El Salvador. A massive eruption, called the Tierra Blanca Joven event, occurred sometime in the 6th century and would have had global impact. The exact sources are still debated, but one thing's clear. Ash from these events spread through the upper atmosphere, blocking sunlight and triggering widespread climate disruption. A plague on all your houses. After a couple of years of starving, those still left had to suffer the next wave of disaster. Plague. The plague of Justinian, as unfortunately for Justinian it came to be known, is thought to be the first recorded outbreak of bubonic plague. It began in Egypt and reached Constantinople the next year. By some estimates, the Justinian plague killed up to 50 million people, about half the population of Europe at the time. Some cities lost 60% of their inhabitants in a matter of months. With famine and disease ravaging the population, trade routes collapsed, armies disbanded, empires faltered. In the Byzantine Empire, the military ambitions of Emperor Justinian were permanently stalled. Entire regions simply faded from the historical record for a generation. A near myth. In the north, where archaeological study has shown whole regions depopulated during this time, these events left a mark in myth. The Norse apocalyptic concept of Ragnarok, where the sun goes dark and the world is buried in ice, is suggested to be a cultural memory of the utter grimness of this period. To ancient eyes, it must have seemed like the end of the world. To an absolute truckload of people, that's exactly what it was. A century of aftershocks. The 6th century continued to be unremittingly grim. Climate instability lingered for decades. The death toll from famine and plague over this period may have reached 100 million globally. The event caused seismic shifts around the globe, the effects of which lasted for centuries. Historians call it the late antique Little Ice Age. It lasted into the 7th century. For many, the old world had ended, so the next time you're thinking about how the world seems to have gone to hell in a handbasket, just remind yourself that it's not as bad as 536 AD. And try and forget that there are an awful lot of dormant volcanoes still out there. Sweet dreams. If you've enjoyed this pint-sized portrait of the worst year in history, subscribe for more. And if medieval misery is your thing, here's a video of some absolutely mental monks and nuns.